In a quiet village surrounded by thick forest and rolling hills lived a poor young man named Kato. He was kind, hardworking, but always unlucky. No matter how much he tried, he remained with empty pockets and an empty stomach. One evening, while wandering deep in the forest in search of firewood, Kato heard a soft voice calling, Kato, Kato. He turned and saw an old woman dressed in tattered robes, leaning on a crotchet stick. Her eyes, though tired, shone like stars. Why do you look so troubled, my son? She asked. Kato said, I work hard, grandmother, but fortune never smiles on me. I have nothing, and I am as I am. The old woman smiled faintly and reached into her cloak. She pulled out a small worn leather bag and handed it to him. This, she whispered, is no ordinary bag. Whatever you ask, it shall provide. But remember, greed will turn its blessings into a curse. Kato bowed with gratitude and hurried home. That night, he placed the bag on his mat and whispered, Magic bag, give me food. Instantly, the bag grew heavy. And when he opened it, steaming plates of roasted meat, sweet bananas, and warm bread tumbled out. From that day, Kato never went hungry. He whispered for new clothes, and the bag provided. He whispered for tools, and they appeared. The villagers began to notice his change of fortune, but he never revealed his secret. However, word spread to the greedy village chief, who summoned Kato. Kato, the chief demanded, how did a poor young boy like you suddenly become so rich? Bring me the source of your wealth. Fearing for his wealth and his life, Kato reluctantly carried the bag to the chief. The chief snatched it, laughed, and shouted, Magic bag, give me gold, 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 gold. At once, gold coins poured out, filling the floor. But the chief was not satisfied. He shouted louder, More, more, and the bag obeyed, spilling endless gold until it crushed him beneath the weight. The palace shook and collapsed. Terrified, the villagers begged Kato to take back the bag. With tears in his eyes, Kato whispered, Magic bag, enough. The bag grew silent again. From that day, Kato learned the true meaning of the old woman's warning. He used the bag only for what he needed, never for greed. He shared food with the poor, tools with the farmers, and clothes with the orphans. And so, though he never became the richest man in the land, he became the most loved and respected. All thanks to the little bag that obeyed the heart. Years passed and Kato lived peacefully, using the beggar's gifts wisely. The villagers loved him so much that they called him Omusajja Omuwombeevu, the humble man. But not everyone was happy. In the neighboring kingdom, a cruel sorcerer named Muwanga had rumors of Kato's strange fortune. Muwanga was a man who collected magical objects, not for good, but for power. When he heard of the bag, he said with a sly smile, If that boy truly has such a treasure, it belongs to me. One night, Muwanga disguised himself as a wandering traveler and came to Kato's home. He pretended to be hungry and tried. Being kind-hearted, Kato welcomed him, saying, Stranger, sit, eat with me. He whispered to the bag and the food appeared. Muwanga's eyes glittered with greed. That night, when Kato slept, the sorcerer tried to steal the bag, but as soon as his hands touched it, the bag began to grow like a wild beast. It shook violently and shouted in a voice that shook the heart, You are not my master. The sorcerer screamed, and the bag sucked him inside with a strong wind, his cry fading into silence. When Kato awoke, the bag lay quietly where he had left it, as if nothing had happened. From that day, Kato realized the bag was not just magical. It was alive. It could choose who it served. Years rolled on, and Kato grew old. He had no children, but the village had become his family. One evening, as the sun sank behind the hills, the old woman who had first given him the bag appeared again. Unchanged by time, Kato, she said softly, "You have kept my gift with honor. But now your journey nears its end. The bag must find a new keeper." Who nodded? Kato, though his heart was heavy. "Who will it choose?" The old woman smiled. "The one whose heart is pure, just as yours was." That night, the bag disappeared from his home. Some say it wandered from village to village, waiting for a new kind soul. Others whisper that it still lies behind in the forest, hidden, growling at anyone who dares touch it with greed. And sometimes on quiet nights, travelers claim they hear a faint whisper among the trees. "Ask and I shall give, but beware your heart." So the tale of the magic bag became the legend, teaching people that true wealth lies not in gold, but in the goodness of one's heart. That was all for today. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned, and do not forget to subscribe for more stories.